Kids notice unfairness way earlier than we think. Hi, I'm Dr. Julia, and on this MLK Day, I want to take the time to talk about the development of a sense of fairness or unfairness and justice in children, how we can best support their appropriate development. We know that from the ages of 3 or 4 is when kids begin to notice differences and have their own internal biases develop. They can have a sense of fairness or unfairness at this age, which is why it's so important not to avoid difficult conversations. Even if you are not having a conversation perfectly, whatever that means, it's really important that your children know they can come to you with questions. We know that silence just breeds more confusion, and it can be really confusing for kids when they see inequity or inequality or unfairness in the world. Kids learn through their social environment, so it is really important that they have trusted adults they can have these conversations with. So if you're a parent or another trusted adult in a kid's life, what can you do? Well, number one is have conversations. Even if you don't have the perfect words, even if you don't know exactly what to say, knowing that they can come to you with their questions is already incredibly important for their development. You can also use developmentally appropriate language when describing or explaining Martin Luther King Jr., when explaining what he was fighting for and that whole movement and why we are still advocating for that to this day. You can also talk about unfairness and social injustices very calmly, explain it to the kids honestly, but again, using developmentally appropriate language. Also reassure kids that the adults are working on their safety, making sure that they are safe, that they have access to the things that they need to have access to. You can also model empathy and show them your values through everyday actions. Ultimately, kids learn by seeing, not necessarily by listening to what we have to say. On this MLK Day, it's important to remember that social justice is not just a social justice issue. It's also a child development issue. How do you talk about fairness and unfairness in your family?